Hey there, this is Kelly123. Decided to do a playthrough, Let's Play of Dark Souls Remastered on the Nintendo Switch. So to go ahead and get started, right now I'm on the character's creation screen. I've got my name already chosen, same name as my cat. I'm trying to model it after him. He's right now at my legs. Good for him. The sex, of course, will be male. He's a male person. Class. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my class. For this playthrough, let's play, I'm going to do warrior class because I'm always comfortable doing a physical player. And warrior class is probably the most balanced. As you can see overlong on the left-hand side, it kind of shows you your stats. So right now we've got level 4, vitality is 11, that's pretty good. Attunement's a little low. Endurance is 12, strength is 13, dexterity is 13, resistance is 11, intelligence is 9, faith is 9. So pretty balanced in strength and dexterity, meaning I could go either way with my build. So, and it's not like you'll be left out if you choose any of these classes from, switching over to a more melee build or a magic build or pyromancy. It's just that the presets kind of give you a guide as to what you kind of want to do, and it kind of gives you your weapon choice at the beginning, and of course armor and whatnot. So warrior's pretty much balanced. Next one is knight. Knight's a little balanced as well, a little bit more higher vitality, attunement, though lower endurance, strength, dexterity, resistance, faith's a little bit higher. It's also level 5. The problem with knight class is you do start with a broadsword and the kite shield, and the knight armor is much better than the warrior class's hard leather armor. The issue is that with the endurance that you have for this, your equipment load is a little too low to be using this armor effectively, so you'll be fat rolling at the beginning of the game, which isn't good. So you'll probably have to take off a piece of armor anyways, but because it's actual armor, it will give you poise, which I'll kind of go into a little bit more. But Wanderer class, this one's more dexterity focused. As you can see, dexterity is a little bit higher at 14, faith's a little lower. Aimless Wanderer, wields scimitar, high dexterity. It has a smaller shield, its armor is a little bit lighter, and of course you get the scimitar, but this is more of, like it says, more dexterity build type. Thief class, endurance and strength is really low, dexterity is pretty high, it's at 15. Guilt-ridden thief, high critical hits, has master key. Critical hits is because it has a knife, and of course it has a small buckler shield, so you'll be doing a lot of parrying. Obviously you won't be able to take as many hits as other classes, but you'll be wanting to do more backstabs and parrying moves in order to do a lot more damage. And it has the master key as a default gift item, which is always good because any class can choose the gift item of master key, but this automatically gives it to you, so you can technically choose a second gift item with this class. Bandit is more strength focused. Savage Bandit, high strength, wields heavy battle axe. It's a little bit lightly armored, but the battle axe will do pretty good damage, and it also has the spider shield, which will give you high poison resistance. It's very good for us part later in the game, but of course you'll be able to get one before you get to that part, so we wouldn't have to worry. But otherwise, endurance and strength are pretty high at 14. Hunter class, bow wielding hunter, okay at close range, but weak with magic. So this is more dexterity, slight strength build. It has a short sword, that leather shield, but it also has a short bow. The issue with this is that it's very lightly armored. You don't even have a piece of helmet armor at this point, and you do get a short bow. Unfortunately, the short bow you can get so early in the game that it really doesn't matter, so I would say avoid that. Sorcerers, so the last ones are kind of a bit, last few are more magic and pyromancy focused. So sorcerer, of course, you're going to use magic, that's why your attunement, your intelligence are pretty high, your strength is low, endurance low. vitality low. So, Sorcerer of Inheim, Dragon Schools, cast Soul Sorceries. So, of course, if you're going to do a magic build, you could go ahead and use this class. But it also has a dagger and a small shield to do with parrying, but and it's lightly armored. Pyromancer, this is the only class that starts at level 1. You'll notice like other classes level 3, 4, 5, that sort of stuff. This one starts at level 1. You're generally okay with attunement, strength, and resistance. Otherwise, everything else is kind of stats. Swamp Pyromancer casts fire spells and wields a hand axe. So you get a small hand axe and a crappy shield, but Pyromancy in this game is pretty overpowered if you decide to use it. I've never done Pyromancy. I've been more just melee and that sort of stuff, but yeah, especially in Dark Souls 1, Pyromancy is pretty broken because of the the item that you get to cast Pyromancy can be easily leveled up, and you can do some serious crap to people. So, Cleric, once again, it's more of a magic based. This one relies more on miracles, so faith's a little bit higher. Strength is pretty good for what it is because it does have a mace and can cast healing miracles at the beginning of the game. You have a wooden shield. Once again, though, you don't have any helmet, head armor for right now, so do what you may with that. And then Deprived. This one is at level 6, so but you'll notice across the board its stats are all at 11. So if you want something that's very evenly focused across the board, this is the class to go to. Probably wouldn't recommend this to a person that's never played the game before, but more power to you. It doesn't have any armor, so right now we're basically naked. All it comes with is a club and that wooden shield. Club's pretty good for damage, but that shield is basically useless, so only armed with a club and an old blank shield. So I will go ahead and go back up to the top and choose warrior class. Gift, you can do no gift. Goddess's Blessing, Divine Holy Water fully restores HP and status. This is kind of a harder item to get in the game, so there's only a few in the game, but still it's okay. Black Fire Bombs, explodes upon impact when thrown, more deadly than STD bomb. I don't think I've ever heard that before. It's standard bomb, but still, it's okay. Anyways, Firebomb, you can pick this for the beginning of the game. This is pretty useful. So the first boss of the game, we'll encounter it as the Asylum Demon. If you beat it in the first time that you see it, like you encounter it, you can use black fire bombs to do a pretty good amount of damage to it. And if you do beat it, then you get its weapon. However, its weapon is very heavy, so it is what it is. So you can use that just for extra firepower, especially at the beginning of the game. And of course, if you can save it then for later as well. But you will be able to get these later at some point in the game. Twin Humanities, tiny sprite called Humanities crosses, sometimes found on carcasses. Carcasses, good lord. Twin Humanities are, they're alright. You basically, when you use a twin humanity, it counts as 2 humanities that you're using at once. You will find some of those in the game as well. Binoculars used to peer at faraway sight. You can basically find this at the beginning of the game, so I don't understand why you would ever want this as a gift when you could just run over and get it, though it is in an area that could kick your butt pretty easily at the very beginning, but still, it's not worth it. Pendant, trinket, no effect, but fond memories and comfort travelers. People thought for a while that this had some sort of significance, but it doesn't. It is a troll item. This does absolutely jack shit. Master Key opens any basic lock, initial equipment for the thief. So if you do get the thief, you don't have to pick the Master Key for this because you automatically have it, and you can pick any of the other items in this list. I will go ahead and choose the Master Key for this because this, like it says, allows you to open up basic locks. This allows you to open up certain doors before you're normally supposed to go through there. So this way you can kind of, go into places that you normally wouldn't if this were your first time and you weren't aware of it. And you can kind of change the order of some stuff and kind of become a little bit more powerful than you probably normally would be. But still, I'd say it's probably the most useful item, especially if you know, you've played the game before, you kind of know where things are at, and you kind of want to go get those items beforehand or do stuff in a different order than you normally would. Tiny Beings Ring, special tribal ring grants small increase to HP. This is all right. It does, like it says, it grants a small increase to HP if you wear it. However, you will be able to find it later on in the game from another NPC. So, and then Old Witch's Ring, gift from a witch, ancient ring with no obvious effect. Old Witch's Ring allows you to talk to one of the NPCs in the game. Without this ring, that person will just have an ellipses every time you try to talk to them, but equipping this ring and talking to them lets you actually hear what they're saying or understand what they're saying. It's not very useful. It's basically for flavor text and dialogue, and it is possible to get this. However, it will probably be late in the game because you need to get an item that you'll want to use for one of the late game areas, and then when you trade that with some crows, they'll give you this in return. So, like I said, I'm going to try Master Key. Physique, you know, you can change your body type. I went with large upper body because why not? Otherwise, you could do average, you know, slim, makes you thinner, very slim, even thinner, large, very large, large lower body, you get them fat legs. Top heavy, you know, your body is, oh no, top heavy, your head becomes really big, and then tiny head, your head isn't very big at all. Face, you can change your type of face. This gives you a list of preset faces and stuff like that. You can change your hair here as well, type of hair. I already did this, so we don't have to worry about it, but you can change your hair color as well. And then next to accept, if you go over, there's customize, where you can kind of customize further stuff like skin tone, you know, where you want your eyes to align and all that sort of stuff, and, you know, facial features and all that jazz. But I already did all this, so I didn't have to sit here and record it all on camera, especially because I can be kind of picky. And most of the time, I'll be honest, I'll probably find some armor that will cover the face anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But of course, right now, his dead stare, you know, is very apparent. So with this armor, we'll definitely be able to see it. So once you're good to go ahead and hit accept. Okay to start game with this character. Okay. I do want to say something with the Nintendo Switch. It's trying to mimic the controls of the other games. So A is down at the bottom, but I'm using a Pro controller, and of course this would be on normal Switch Joy-Cons as well. B is down at the bottom. So in this game, B is confirm and A is back, which kind of threw me for a loop for a second because I haven't played it in a while. So I went to confirm in the menu, and when I went to type the name, of course I went to hit B, you know, because the rest of the game is like that. But of course it kept booting me out of it because the text then switches back to normal Switch text entering thing. So A then becomes confirm. You can kind of switch stuff around in the menu, but you'll get used to it. So I'll go ahead and hit B to hit OK, and then we get a little cutscene at the beginning.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight. and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone skills. The witches weaved great firestorms. Leto unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath, the scales, betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers. And man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side.
Okay, so so
Yes, indeed.
we get to see this
The
scene.
dark sign brands
So after you
the
beat the game every
undead.
single time, it goes into an in-game quest. This is where it always starts out with. Every single time you don't get this
And in this
main
land,
cutscene beforehand ever again, as far as I'm concerned.
the undead are corralled and
So yeah,
led
I'm playing
to
on the
north.
Switch. This is the version that I bought before I ever got a PS4.
Where they are locked away.
What I can tell, this
to
looks
await
more,
the end
or
of
the
the
Switch
world.
version looks more like the original version, maybe some tweaks to it to look slightly better. It did fix the
This is
FPS
your
from
fate.
Blighttown and certain issues, so it does run pretty well. So if you want something that looks a little bit closer to the original version of Dark Souls, with, you know, updated stuff. Of course, there's the PC mods of, you know, that fixed all that. But the Switch version is pretty good as well. And as far as I'm concerned, it lets you kind of cheese some of the stuff because there is no pause button in Dark Souls. But if you go back into the menu and put your console to sleep, as far as I'm concerned, I believe that the game does go in fact to sleep, unlike the other version. So anyways, we're here now. Here we are, Northern Undead Asylum. We have one weapon. It is a broken straight sword. Woo! Look at it go. Up in the top left corner, you'll see the red bar is my health, the green bar is stamina. So doing certain things like swinging your weapons, rolling with the A button, you know, consumes stamina. I like the joke that if anybody has ever played Breath of the Wild, you know, that sort of stuff, this game kind of handles slightly similar, maybe more RPG, but you'll kind of get an idea. So if I collect this item, I get the dungeon cell key, which the good old knight up above dropped for us. So I'll go ahead and open the door with B, use dragon cell key. Cool. Get on moving. So here we have an undead, which we are undead as well, but I'll go ahead and just beat the crap out of him. Yeah. And if we get that, we get some souls. So you get your soul counter down in the bottom right. There's a big old demon behind here. We won't be encountering you for a while, sir. So I hope you have fun down here. And I don't like that fight. Anyways, here's other undead. The other undead, right now these are just hanging out on the wall. You know, later on they'll have weapons and they can hang out. You'll find some messages on the ground. If you hit B, it tells you press and hold A. Left stick, press hold A, does dash. Ooh, so we can run. That's consume stamina. So B, target, and release. So if you press in on the right stick, you get target in. So you'll notice that in the water I'm kind of slowed down a little bit. There is a way to get around that. There is a ring that you can get later on that allows you to be unhindered from that, so that'll be good to get. Press B to go up the ladder. Ladder climbing. Later games let you climb up a little bit faster. Oh, I'm sitting pretty close to the screen, and that's a little claustrophobic, but whatever. Press B, rest at a bonfire to recover HP. So this is a bonfire right here. If I press B, I will light the bonfire. Bonfire lit! And if I press B again, I can rest at the bonfire. Every time you rest at a bonfire, what it does is it restores your health, all your stamina, and allows you to do stuff in this menu. Right now there's nothing in here, but so all we have is the option to leave, but it also resets enemies. So any enemies that you have killed, any normal enemies that you have killed, they will go ahead and respawn every time you rest at a bonfire. So just, you know, you can use, this is like one of those things where it's like, you know, you play the game and you're like, okay, I've been doing pretty well, I got hit a few times, you know, you get to you go, I need to go back to a bonfire, but you know, you risk the having to respawn everybody over and over again. So go to the pause menu. So the plus button on here goes to the pause menu. I can go over. So browse and use items. I've just got a few items: black separation crystal, dark sign. If I hit L or R, it goes through. So here's my equipment: straight sword hilt, standard helm, hard leather armor, hard leather gauntlets, hard leather boots. We don't have anything over here yet. Here's all my stats and everything. This is system menu. So in options, you can kind of change stuff around. Amiibo, do not use Amiibo. I don't have the Solera Amiibo, so that's the only one that I'm aware of that works for this game, and it basically, every time you use it, it just lets you do this salute the sun motion. So that's it. X-axis, Y-axis, normal, that sort of stuff, blah, blah, blah. Sound, I kind of beefed up a little bit. Brightness. Oh yeah, I did jack up the brightness because sometimes it's kind of hard to see for me. So button settings. You can kind of change the way that some of these settings are. It tells you what everything is. Oh, I guess you can kind of change stuff around. If you wanted to. Anyways, I'll go back. This is where you go to quit the game. So in Dark Souls, it isn't enough to just rest at a bonfire. You will also want to go into the menu every single time and go into here and quit the game. So when you go back to the front screen, then you can turn off your system. Okay. If you don't do that, there is a potential, because the game is technically constantly saving. So if you don't do it, and you'll notice in the very top right corner there's a flame that's appearing. Basically the game is always going, okay, I'm going to save every so often, because it is saving everything that is happening. So quitting game is basically like the final save, and it will let you save anywhere in the world. If you do quit in the middle of a boss fight though, it'll boot you out of the boss fight, which sometimes you might want to use that in order to reset some stuff. So anyways, I'll go ahead and do this. We're going to open up this door. You hear some thuds. This is a big old room. I'm going to go ahead and run towards over here. If we don't, oh, it's the demon, the Asylum demon. I'm going to go ahead and go in here. So it is possible to fight this boss. Of course, like I said, you could use your first item, which is that black fire bombs. That's a good strategy to use. Just throw it at them. They do a pretty good amount of damage. You can try to beat them with your straight sword hilt. I wouldn't recommend it because it'll do crap damage. Maybe just a challenge run. Good arm clipping through the armor. Here's another bonfire. Of course, we'll go ahead and hit rest. That sort of stuff. But yeah. So we go through here. There's some other messages. Get your shield. Yay, we will get our shield. Thank you. This guy's firing arrows, so we go ahead. I will equip my heater shield. So these items change depending on what you're doing. So I go in here, press B. I've only got one shield, so I can go like this. If I press the L button, this will bring it up. Heater shield is pretty good. It's pretty lightweight for what it is, and it allows you to. It has 100% physical resistance, so more power to you. Ooh, longsword as well. So let's go ahead and equip that as well. So I change this piece of shit to longsword. Okay, now we can do some damage. So we're very well equipped. That guy was running. He was running. This guy's bullshit with his bow and arrow. Okay, knocked his ass down. In due time, I will also be getting a bow and arrow for the sake of having one. So you see, oh, it's that knight that we saw earlier. He's collapsed against the ground. Press A to backstep. And then, of course, if you're moving forward and hit roll, or A, you'll roll again. Rolling, 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 roll hard. So right now, as you can see, we're doing normal-ish rolls. They're not too bad. I'm at a medium roll thing, so if I go into the menu real quick and I go to this menu status, you'll see equipment load in the center. So there's HP, stamina, and then equipment load. 21.4 out of 52. For fast rolling and light, for fast rolling and a minimal, stamina. I guess it's more or less just for fast rolling. You have to be under 25%. So right now, 21.4, times 2 would be 42.8. Obviously, that's less than half of 52. So under 25%, you would be your fast rolling. Anywhere from 25.1 to 50% will be considered medium roll. So you do, what we're doing right now, medium rolling. So pretty decent. However, anything above 50%, then you get some penalties. So when you try to roll, you'll like hit the ground and almost go to a thud, which isn't good. But your stamina regeneration up at the top will be slowed down. In general, you'll just be moving pretty slow or slower as well. So go ahead and trigger that. I said go ahead and trigger that. Or not, I guess not. Let me do this first. So this gate wouldn't open from the other side. There we go. There you go. Get that ball to roll down, knock this wall out. And then it just gets into the corner. Very odd. So we'll talk to him.
Oh, you. You're no hollow. Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I, we're both undead. Hear me out, will you?
What is your decision? Yes?
Regrettably, I have failed in my mission. But perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art chosen. And thine exodus from the Undead Asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask. An undead favorite.
He's spelled favorite with the U. Anyways, we get Estus Flask. Yay, this is our recovery item.
Oh, and this.
And the Undead Asylum F Floor 2 East Key.
Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now.
he
and
says
thank you.
that, but yeah. Anyways, so he's just gonna lay there. Technically, you can kill NPCs. So if I swing my weapon, it will hit him and he'll disappear. But whatever. So yeah, Estus Flask. You'll see down at the bottom it says Estus Flask. To use it, it should be the Y button to use, but I don't want to use it right now because I don't want to have to regenerate that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, if you meet a certain distance, you'll hear it sounds like a flash sound. We do get 100 souls for that, so whatever. But yeah, he is dead, quote unquote. No, let me go. I'll just go ahead and I'll run back down. So. Because we've got this bonfire that we can use again. No, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, let me use the Estus Flash. So why we should be using Estus Flash. So when you drink that, it recovers health, and when you rest at a bonfire, you'll see that it goes back from 4 to 5. By default, you automatically get 5 back every time you rest at a bonfire. There are ways to increase this amount by kindling, which we'll get into that more later on, but usually every time you kindle it'll increase by 5. But here we have an actual enemy that'll slash back at us. And even though these guys are early in the game, you'll encounter them more and more often, the undead people, they will hurt you in packs. We needed the key to open up this door. Read the message. X wield your weapon two-handed. So right now I have my sword and shield up. So if I press this button, L brings that up. R1 does the weapon. R2 will do my heavy attack, which is a stab because I'm using a longsword. Everything changes depending on what weapon you use. If you do L2, this does the parry maneuver for your shield. Medium shields, that's the parry maneuver. Bigger shields, it'll be a shield bash typically. And then lighter shields, the parry window's a little bit larger because those shields are made more for actually parrying. So you can parry with, a medium shield. It's just the parry window isn't as large. So you can do a kick if you do forward and R1, which it never seems to work ever. There we go. You have to, it's one of those, it's tricky because you try to do it and then it's like sometimes it doesn't work. What did it say? Oh, forward and ZR. Yeah, it's like you have to just quickly do it. You gotta do just slightly forward and R does it. So, and the other one as well. But, resting on bonfire revives enemies. Yep, makes sense. I've already said that. I'm ahead of the curve. Oh, there's a good old portion of these, so I'll lock on. Oh, that's good. Got my shield up pretty quickly. This guy's firing. He's firing his lighter. Alright. So this is the boss fog. If I go ahead and hit B on it, I'll go ahead and enter the fog. Press R. While falling, we'll perform a plunging attack. We'll talk about that in a second. Continue on back here. R behind an enemy will do a backstab. It calls it a critical hit. But here's a very stronger enemy that we're going to encounter later on. I forget what their names are. They're undead soldiers, basically. See, he can do the bashing too. He also has his own Estus Flask because he's an asshole. But go ahead and kill him. I can't open this door. As you can tell, we will be back here at this point, at a later point, to kind of clean up some stuff. There'll be a lot of changes that happen. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and just traverse the white fog. If I lock on and press the R button as I fall, I do a plunging attack. It does a crap ton of damage to this guy. hold up your shield to block his physical attacks. Most bosses you can stay locked on. You know, you can roll out of the way as well. So a lot of times you'll want to roll out of the way because sometimes your shield, you know, won't do the greatest job of blocking stuff. Of course, this is the first boss, so it's not going to do too bad. But you also have to know that a lot of your weapons and stuff do have, like, health, per se. So, you know, they can become damaged. So, I mean, your shield, you know, obviously you'll want to keep up your shield, and it takes a bit of time. Certain weapons, more than others, will take a while to degrade, but we knocked his ass down, good to go. We got the Pilgrim Big Key. We also got 1 humanity, and we don't get any souls. Oh, there we go. 2,000 souls. Yay! So I will go ahead and I was going to say rest the bonfire. It's fine. I'm not going to do that. You'll notice that the floor is kind of all iffy from where he fell down at. That'll come into play later. But for right now, we're basically done with the asylum for now. We used the Big Pilgrim's Key to get out. There will be enemies here later. Read this. Good job. Go straight ahead. Who the hell is leaving the messages? I mean, the developer messages, but it would just be like in the context of the game. Be like, who the hell? Over here, you'll see there's a nest. If we go there, there will be some crows that talk to us. That's where we can drop some items to exchange for other stuff. We'll kind of go over that later when I have more stuff and I have to revisit everything. But of course, we don't have anything right now. So, continue on. Keep on rolling. Not really rolling, just running. So while this is loading,
Only in the ancient legends it is
so while this is going, that knight that helped us out back there, in the game he's technically a nameless knight. However, in the original, his actual name is Oscar of Astora. He had a slightly different role in the original iteration of this game, where his actual name was Oscar, but it never made it into the final version. So thus, in actuality, he's the nameless knight, but people still refer to him as Oscar of Astora. And he is wielding the Elite Knight armor set, which is probably the most iconic armor set in the entire series. It definitely is for this game. It's on the cover, especially the remastered version, and it's pretty well balanced. In all honesty, a medium armor set, but yeah, you can basically get it in all 3 games, no matter what. So here in Lordran, level up and Kenwan bonfires. We are at Firelink Shrine. Firelink Shrine will be our hub area. Press the A button. So we've got our bonfire. We've also got this interesting gentleman over here. If I talk to him.
Well, what do we have here? You must be a new arrival. Let me guess. Fate of the undead, right? Well, you're not the first. But there's no salvation here. You'd have done better to rot in the Undead Asylum. But too late now. Well, since you're here, let me help you out. There are, actually, 2 bells of awakening. One's up above in the Undead Church. The other is far, far below, in the ruins at the base of Blight Town. Ring them both, and something happened. Brilliant, right? Not much to go on, but I have a feeling that won't stop you. So, off you go. It is why you came, isn't it? To this accursed land of the undead?
This is known as the Crestfallen Warrior. Obviously, he's about as spiteful as most of the time I would be as well. He's seen some shit and seen some people and friends go about, and he's just kind of tired of it all. And obviously, we're known as the Chosen Undead. but you know, there's been other people that have also thought that they were the chosen undead. They've been trying to do this as well, and it hasn't had that much. You know, things haven't gone so well for them. So, including this fellow right here. But yeah, so I will go ahead and stop for now. So yeah, we're in Lordran. We'll be able to level up a little bit, and we'll continue on to the next area when we come back. So we'll see you then.